will be on par with Minnesota and OKC going forward. We talk about peer group. We talk about but for injury. We were right there. We were ahead. We beat them. We being the Grizzlies.
Sure.
Me being Grizz fan.
Grizz fan. How about that?
I'm the definition of it, aren't I?
That's right.
I'm the poster person
You
for Grizz
are,
fan, aren't I?
absolutely.
What do you think?
I
know what we hope.
But I'm gonna say no. I mean, a whole year is a lot of time, unfortunately.
And I don't think he has to pay forever. I think he's paid up. I think John Moran is paid. Being suspended. Sure. But going forward, how much do you trust that as the titular head of our franchise?
Yeah.
You see SGA. You see Anthony Edwards. Mm-hmm. You see Doncic.
Yeah. You
see other stars of Western teams that you got to go through some of them.
Sure.
You got to beat somebody in a first-round series.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, even this roster still has a ton of question marks.
You see Booker.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you see all these guys doing their thing night in and night out. But even on the roster construction, I mean, who's going to be the center?
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox. That's another good one. Even you're right. These teams that were in the
down ballot
are still have got those dudes on their team.
I want to believe. I want it to happen.
Yeah.
I want the last, I guess, from the Denver incident on to be a bad nightmare, a bad dream.
Sure. I don't know if it's that easy though.
And the real tough part, the Grizzlies will be defined next year at playoff time.
Yep.
College basketball, those coaches, those players, those teams, defined in March.
Yep.
NBA, you're defined at playoff time. Can sail along and have that 51, 52 win season. We will have trepidation going into that first round series of, oh no, not again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And until you do it. And we got a long time to get there. About 11 months.
It's going to be a long rest of the playoffs, then a long off season, then a long season until you're finally back to the playoffs.
A lot of differences between the football world. So few games, kind of the magnitude in the college football world of week to week. And you have a bunch of little Super Bowls in there. You have a bunch of biggest game ever in there. It will get, and we can bring this up with Brent in a little bit. We're going to get down to college football getting defined by December.
Yeah.
Hey, we went 11-2. Yeah, you got knocked out in you lost at home in that playoff game, though, as the 7 seed. You got beat by the 10.
Yep.
You didn't even go to a bowl. Technically, people will be right. You did not even go to a bowl.
You're right. So it's gonna be very different.
So that's what the Grizzlies face. Of it's a long time until they can show us. And I'm gonna. I want to be positive and I want to be hopeful, but I'm dubious of can they reclaim status ahead of those two and maybe 2 or 3 others.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point because I think you're seeing these teams doing it now. Where last time, like you mentioned, we saw the Grizzlies. It was a first round exit, and now you've had this entire season that has pretty much, I don't want to say a wasted
Magic
season.
Reeves and Rui Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes, that'd be correct. Those two guys that I think
I'll never forgive them.
Johnny, I think Brett still has nightmares of those two. I mean, what those two guys did to the Grizzlies.
I have nightmares.
I don't blame you.
Austin Reeves looked like Jerry West.
The logo.
I'll be having nightmares after that.
Somebody plant him.
You would wish. But no, you're right. I think you got to prove it. And these teams right now are proving it and passing the Grizzlies. And so while it's been fun to watch these teams play, I think kind of like we were saying earlier. I know my brother, one of them. I think a lot of Grizzlies fans are like that. It's hard to watch because you think this should be the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies were on that trajectory before all of this happened.
I think I'm becoming more embittered instead of I don't mind if Minnesota or Oklahoma City wins.
Maybe. I think we need to get off the topic then.
I like seeing new teams involved because I want one of these sweet, fun days the new team to be us.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And we're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And we're talking about dynasty after one title. And we would.
Oh, absolutely. We will.
Oh yeah, we would.
We will.
And
Will.
I think that's okay. We will.
Yeah,
I think that, no, we're not going to act like we've done it before.
Yeah, we haven't. No. So it's going to be
we're gonna be all
celebrations every day.
in stupid acting.
Absolutely. That's fine. I act stupid pretty much every day.
Anything
so.
with that Larry O'Brien logo on it, I'm buying.
That's right. Oh, absolutely. I have a whole closet full of it.
Bed sheets.
Right next to your John Conchar jersey.
Right.
So, I mean,
I still sleep in it.
well, you might. Unfortunately,
And
might be
Johnny,
getting
when I
close
wear
to
my
getting
John
ready of it.
Conchar jersey out with no T-shirt under
Oh,
it
yeah.
and show off this area, it's really nice.
That's right. Real groovy.
When I show my guns area,
That's right.
it's really cool.
Oh man. Well, Brett, what did you think last night? I've heard a lot of people talk about it today. Of I think everyone's labeling it the call today of the illegal screen, DiVincenzo.
They missed all the way around.
Yeah.
Human beings made mistakes.
Absolutely.
They missed on the kick. It was not a kick.
Sure.
It was a handball.
Yeah.
And now is a handball reviewed? Kick is not.
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think it's kind of in that same category.
You know, Rick Carlisle really handled it great.
He did. You're absolutely right. He did.
And he knows 7 games.
Sure. Absolutely.
It kind of stakes some ground anyway in defeat.
Oh yeah.
The Knicks are a fortunate 5-2 postseason team.
Well, that's what I was
this
going to
year.
say. I think at least me
But
personally.
they won them. That's all you got to do.
I think I came away from last night almost more impressed by the Pacers than I did of the Knicks.
They won a little in defeat, and we know that dynamic.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes, famously for Tiger football, the road game at the Rose Bowl Stadium against UCLA in 2014 may be the greatest loss in Tiger football history.
I think easily.
And let everybody know things are changing.
Oh, yeah.
Things are changing.
Yes, that was as much as everyone says you don't want moral victories. That was the moral victory that said, okay, there's something that mentally this team, something's changing within. And you're right, that started a lot of things. So, yeah, I think that was definitely big for them last night, and hopefully they can carry that into the next game. I also got to give Dante DiVincenzo a lot of credit on, to sell that, call it a flop, whatever you want. You got to sell it sometimes. And he sold it. Then he goes down, hits the massive 3 on the other side. So
I think it was Stan Van Gundy that said, a lot of great actors in New York City on Broadway. And that was great acting.
It sure was. You got to give him credit for it. I mean, you got to give him a little golf clap.
I said, you guys, pre-show, I thought he would be a really solid 7th, 8th player in the NBA. MOP on that Villanova team.
Yeah.
The Final Four. But Villanova had produced a lot better than him through the years.
A couple of his teammates now.
Yeah, didn't do a lot in some tournaments.
That's right, yeah.
He really fits there.
Oh, he does. And, maybe it's that chemistry he has with those other Villanova
and with
guys
Thibodeau.
and with Tibbs. So, no, that team plays really well, and those guys have really shined. So we'll see. I also, we talked about it, pre-show. I think it worries me a little bit, this 7-man rotation that we're throwing out there, and maybe once we get a little bit later into the series, especially if it goes deep, if it goes 6 or 7 games, I'm kind of worried about these guys getting exhausted. I mean, you look last night at the minutes. I mean, that was one of the first things after the game was done. I went and checked minutes
that
played.
7-man rotation's got to catch up with you.
I mean,
if it doesn't in this series, it will in the Eastern
one.
Conference Finals against presumably Boston.
Yeah, and you don't want that to happen against Boston. Because, I mean, you look, 42, 44, 48, 44. The only person that did not play 40 or more minutes was Hartenstein, and he played 36. So, I mean, it was just everybody going last night.
That's 40
pretty much
to
the
me.
distance. Oh, yeah. And so
for a big guy banging around.
Yeah, so I that worries me going forward. Certainly on the other side, ran a much deeper bench for Indiana and got some good minutes from guys, and I expect that to continue going forward.
And I think they did, and they will. That Boston crowd had to see MSG and go, okay, we got to match that.
Oh yeah, I think tonight's gonna be fun, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but it's crazy still. I know how good Boston is, but it's still crazy to me the fact that they open up as a. as a 12.5-point favorite tonight.
Is it that big now?
I don't know if it's changed, but this morning it was 12.5, and that's crazy. So shows how good they are. That should should be probably a win for the Celtics. We'll see by what margin. And then that game, later day, Mavericks and Thunder should also be a really, really fun game. Only 3.5 point favorite the Thunder are tonight at home. So we'll see how that game goes as well. But we need to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, this will be fun. We're going to rank the remaining coaches in the NBA playoffs from best to worst. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus. Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. Add in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
The times they are a-changin'. Bob Dylan's song is even more meaningful today in the real estate industry. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Ben Storff Realtors, and in the months to come, if you decide to sell your home, you better have a knowledgeable agent to guide you through the changes that are taking place. As I tell people, it's not that you don't know the answers, you don't know the questions. So, if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 experienced real estate brokers to guide you through the changes, but make sure that I am one of them. I have a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in when you sell and what you make. We're also affiliated with leading real estate companies of the world, a relocation network that means added exposure for your home from buyers moving into the Memphis area. Find out why people often say that when you want the job done, all shell done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh. Yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza! Jinx! Oh,
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hi, folks, the Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has acres of new Chevys and GM certified in stock, ready for immediate delivery. A $6 million used car inventory and cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $99.95. If you've been turned down by another dealer, see us at Sunrise. We specialize in financing, and SunriseMemphis.com is home of guaranteed credit approval. Cars and trucks may not be free, but at least they're affordable at Sunrise. Together, let's drive to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and it's been a pretty much a NBA first hour, and we're going to wrap it up. Fun little exercise, ranking.
Tough list.
It's a tough list.
Not like the 21st century best draft choices, though.
No, but I do think our lists are probably going to be pretty different, or at least a little bit different.
I'm saying maybe 2 right on in agreement. Maybe 2 out of 8.
Maybe.
Fire away.
You want me to go first? Okay. I'll go from bottom to top.
Okay.
We'll go from worst to best. And again, I don't like the phrasing worst, maybe least best.
No, just
because
somebody's got to be
somebody's got to be last. So
and I didn't like who my 8 is.
I don't either. My 8th is JB Bickerstaff. There's one. All right. 7 for me, Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle, who has a championship, I might add.
Yeah, how about that? So I have him 7th. 6th, I have Jason Kidd. J-Kid on my list at number 6. Dags, number 5 for the Thunder, their new coach.
Days, you know.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to try to. I hate trying to pronounce his name. I always slip up on it. So I just call him Dags. I got him 5th. Mike Malone coming off of the title last year.
Defending champion, I might add.
Defending champ. I have him number 4. I've got Joe Mazzulla, number 3.
Who got handed a ready-made team.
That's right.
There's a lot of editorializing.
A lot of editorializing. Hey, you know, I'm excited for your list. Number 2, I've got Chris Finch. Johnny.
That's
the moment. Johnny.
That's good.
Johnny.
That's good.
I mean, coaching this team on one leg. I mean,
hey man, what a warrior!
And then number
Could
1,
be me over there on one leg.
Number 1, Thibs. I mean, what he's doing with the Knicks. Give me Thibs.
What he's done with the Knicks, what he's done in a lot of places, but he's never done the ultimate.
Well,
he hasn't. That's a great point.
Usually, there's real buyer's remorse at the end.
You're right, but hey, right now at least things going well.
The parting
in New York
is never nice.
You're right about that.
But during the middle of the
that's
courtship,
right. It's always
all
good. It's all good. And what he's got with this team, I mean, who would have thought that Isaiah
never been
Hartenstein,
a pretty divorce, has it?
No, well, that's a great point. But I mean, what he's getting out of Hartenstein this year, what he's gotten out of Brunson, turning him into this. I mean, he's already a really good player, but turning him into
show
the star.
me a pretty divorce. And I'll ask you, why are you getting a divorce?
Well, that's great. That's
Tough it out, dude.
I mean,
tough times.
There's no divorce if everything's going good. So.
Bow up.
That's right.
Number 8 for me, JB Bickerstaff. I do it with no glee. 7, Chris Finch.
Wow.
You have him 2.
I was second.
6, Dage.
I like that.
5, Joe Mazzulla. Got handed a ready-made team. Has he really done any coaching?
Hey,
Joe, go win. You got the Boston Celtics.
Good point.
Number 4, Jason Kidd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you have him a little higher than me.
Never had a real crummy job.
No.
But never a great job.
No, not really.
Nothing like Joe Mazzulla starting in Boston.
Ready-made team.
After M.A. Adoko, whatever that was.
Yeah.
3 Tibbs.
Okay.
2, champion coach Rick Carlisle.
Yeah.
1, defending champion coach Mike Malone.
Wow, how about that? Mike Malone. I think it's a good one. That's why I say, I mean, it was so tough for me to try to rank these 8 coaches because I like all of them. I think they're all really good coaches. And so I said it earlier, I know a little bit of heat of the moment. You know, I'm watching those games last night. I'm like, wow, this is something special. And then I wake up this morning. I'm like, oh, I have to make a list. Here goes my list. And
it was hard. I had a lot of scratch outs
Sure.
on the big list. Probably my most consensus is where I started at 8. And that's my favorite guy.
Sure.
And want him to do well.
And I think he's
I
done
think
a good
he's
job.
in trouble if he gets beat 4-0, 4-1. And was going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, he
except
is.
for that comeback Sunday.
Oh, no, you're right about that. Which I hate. I mean, I think he's done a good job with this team.
He's always out there on that edge.
He is. I think he's such an easy target, which
I
is
love Rick
unfortunate.
Carlisle. I was glad he got that one in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
Did not like him in 1984 with his running jumper at the buzzer to beat the Razorbacks in East Rutherford in the NCAA tournament for UVA.
No.
Like 54, 53.
Yikes.
Typical Eddie Sutton game. Coach Sutton the whole game playing not to lose,
course.
work for the perfect shot,
Yep.
try to win by 1 or 2 at the buzzer and get out of there. No, you got Alvin Robertson and Darrell Walker as guards.
Go win the game.
And Joe Klein in the post. Go win the game.
Yes, that's right. But no, some really good coaches in here. Tough for me to rank them, but of course, had the two coaches that got a win last night. That's 1 and 2 for
Kind of
me.
heat of the moment, wasn't it?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
You call it heat of the moment. I call it winning games.
And Joe Mazzulla not going to be fired if the Celtics. What if the Celtics lost in this round? Would he be? We'll ask Keith Smith that
That's
Thursday.
a great question for Keith Smith because I
don't think he will. I don't think he'll lose in this round.
I don't think he will lose in this round.
But if he lost in this round,
I think
it would be a conversation.
I think probably would be let go of.
Yeah.
Brad, I think the comment you made of ready-made team, I think a lot of people have that same thought of him, and I think if
people were thinking Mayodoka wins it with them last year.
Sure.
Yeah,
and I think, you have this Boston Celtics team that entered the playoffs in first place, 14 and a half games ahead of the team that was sitting in second place. And so, far and away the better team. If they don't reach the conference finals, certainly, I think in trouble.
He entered this year that if it was a particular ugly, rough patch, that shake it up in season, Brad Stevens down from the front office.
Yeah.
At least I've quit asking Keith about Brad Stevens to college.
Brett, sometimes we just have to learn. We always
on.
talk about it with Kentucky now that they have John Calipari, and we talked about with UCF yesterday when they picked up J.J. Taylor. And sometimes you just got to learn. You got to learn the hard way, and you learn the hard way. And now I think you know better. And
this year, he won't be in trouble if he gets to the NBA Finals. But losing the finals hit rough patch next year. Yeah. Brad Stevens from front office to ride it out till the end of the year will be back in play.
I think you're right, yeah.
And you have him as your
third
coach.
That's right, number 3. Missoula. Joey, I don't have a good nickname for Missoula, unfortunately.
No, Magic's taken.
Yeah.
Magic Missoula. Well, Magic is taken by Austin Reeves.
Sure, well, that's right. When I loved last night in that post-game press conference that I mentioned earlier with Anthony Edwards, he only referred to Chris Finch as Finchy, which I thought was hilarious. I love that. That's that's almost like a hockey thing where they throw a Y on the end of everybody's name to make it a nickname. It's always Johnny, your name already has a Y, but
it does.
They'd be like, oh yeah, Hilly was out there tonight.
Oh
really,
Hilly, okay.
Really attacking the zone, and so so I love that, and I loved it when he said it. So Finchy is all he is to me now. But that was a fun exercise. Tomorrow will be really tough. Top 10 players remaining in the NBA playoffs. That will be rough. I'm sure, like you said, a lot of scratch outs today for you. I'm sure I'll have a ton of scratch outs tomorrow while I'm trying to fill that out. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to a break. And when we come back, we're talking college football with Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville.
It's Kubota Days at First Choice Farm and Lawn, and you're saving big. Hi, I'm Johnny Radio from Sports 56. Take advantage of discounts and 0% financing on every piece of Kubota equipment. Join me in Sports 56 Saturday, May 11th, 11 to 1. We'll be giving away golf rounds at Wedgewood Golf Course, Malco movie tickets, food from Coletta's, and more. Kubota's Orange Day sales event at First Choice Farm and Lawn, 12701 Highway 64. See you for Kubota savings on May 11th. It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill & Bar in Olive Branch and Carterville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshot's 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes, and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Carterville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill & Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Challenging, purposeful, rewarding.
I was the only female in my class, so I call them my brothers to this day because they supported me, they helped me. I couldn't do pull-ups. I went to the gym, we worked out together, so it was fun.
We have the unique opportunity as deputies of interacting with people at some of the worst and sometimes most transitional or pivotal moments of their lives.
Come join our team, become a patrol deputy with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's got a little bit busier in the last few minutes with more volume over here on 240 East from, let's say, Mill Branch all the way out to 385. No surprise to see it heavy over here on 240 East up by Poplar, and as that starts to build even more. It looks good at the moment on Sam Cooper going outbound. A little bit busy around the zoo this afternoon. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joins us now from First Coast News in Jacksonville. He joins us every single week to talk some college football. He joins us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line where all of our guests join us. Brent, thanks so much for joining us. Plenty to get into today when it comes to college football, but I got to start off with the news that came in last week that Kirby Smart has gotten a big-time extension from Georgia. What'd you make of that news? Obviously, certainly worth it with what he has done at Georgia, but the first $13 million coach in college football. What'd you make of that news last week?
Well, look, and there are a lot of people think he's probably worth 20 for what he's done for them. I would say when Nick Saban was coaching, they were frankly underpaid, even though a lot of people would probably argue about that. But see, the thing that we need to base coaches on is not just wins and losses, but what do they do to revitalize their town? I mean, I've talked to Alabama beat writers that said that Saban basically revitalized Tuscaloosa, almost doubled the attendance for the students. And look, not everybody comes there because of the football team, but
they should.
A lot of them do, and I think the same thing goes on in Athens. And look, the day's coming where we'll have the first $20 million coach, which is amazing to say. But I think that, Brian, I think that's just the market. That's just what you get when you've had success. Although they got in the championship game. That's as much as you can control. And after that, but not a real surprise. But the money is staggering, isn't it?
It is, Brent. And I can remember when Alabama got Nick Saban to leave the Dolphins and become their coach. He signed a 7-year deal. 7 or 8 year deal for $4 million a year, and people thought that was scandalous. It's a lot of money then. It's a lot of money now. $32 million or whatever it is, 28, 32, whatever it is always a lot of money. 13 is, but it's the going rate. It's the market rate, as you said, and they contribute so much more than just on Saturdays during football season. You get down to property value around town in Tuscaloosa County, for Kirby, around Clark County. Winning is really good for business, and we know the tangible, real world, you can feel it, touch it effect in football season, but there's so much more. Convention and Visitors Bureau people like to call it the multiplier effect of a big event coming to town. These little SEC haunts, Fayetteville, Tuscaloosa, Starkville, Athens, Knoxville, Auburn, they host, okay, maybe not every single home game is like this, but at least 3 or 4 are little Super Bowls for those towns every year. And if you're winning, it's big money. I don't mind it at all. I hear some, I'll say who I heard. Yesterday I heard Chris Lowe, who we all like a lot. He was on with Paul Feinbaum talking about this subject. I didn't know Bryant was going to start there with you. And Chris Lowe was talking about it. And he finished with it. He said everything we had just said, and then he said that's an obscene amount. I don't think it's obscene.
No, I don't either. No, I agree with that. I still say for what these guys do for their universities and bringing the look. There's no way in the world that for, say, Georgia and Alabama over the last few years, you could not put a price on the amount of publicity that winning gives to these schools, and it's well worth paying the head guy the amount of money, but because when you bring in that, it pays off in many ways.
I would dare say, instead of obscene, I would say I would go the other extreme, and this is extreme. I would say that Nick Saban in his tenure at Alabama, and that Kirby Smart so far in his very successful tenure in Athens, they've been stolen from.
Yeah.
They deserve more.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I think that's very true. Now look, I'm sure I'm sure there are a lot of things they don't pay for in their hometown, but I mean
they should never carry their wallet.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And they put
not even for their driver's license.
That's right. And they put these towns. And Brett is right, Brian. I mean, and look, Gainesville is an hour away from where I live here, and frankly, with that University of Alabama, University of Florida there, people would not, I'm not saying they wouldn't know what Gainesville is or was, but the publicity that brings to the town is just, there's no way you can pay for it.
What's the place in the SEC that you go to now, and I'm not talking about comparing, back to the 70s, even to 95, 98, around the new century, of the 21st century, that you can't believe it's boomed like that?
Well, I mean, you would think this wouldn't matter, but I mean, I've had Bama beat writers to tell me that it's a brand new town, is how they put it. I mean, I'm not there, but except on a few football games during the year. But I've certainly heard that. I mean, I've got family that have lived around Athens, and they'll tell you the same thing. That it just brings on a different vibe. It just brings on
every one of them, maybe except for Nashville, because it's not as dependent on Vanderbilt for the town's image or whatever. One for me that stands out, and it was a couple things that factored into it: their success, led by Nick Saban, and post-Katrina, with a lot of people moving there, Baton Rouge. I mean, it doesn't look it doesn't look in now Tiger Stadium always felt and looked unreal and was, but the campus and the town itself doesn't compare to the first time I went to Baton Rouge around 1993 or 94.
Oh, I bet. Well, I'll throw Missouri in there. They're kind of new.
I've only been once, and I don't have a good gauge for it.
Yeah, well, I'm just this is more just playing out the theory we're talking about here. I bet people in Missouri can tell the difference. And I don't know if I'm not saying Missouri's going to win the SEC anytime soon, but I mean they played some decent football, and that continues. And look, could you say Lexington?
They were close.
I've said many times.
It was close for me to say Lexington instead of Baton Rouge, but I hadn't been there as much. And and people that do this are doing themselves a horrible disservice. If you stereotype Kentucky football, not downtown Lexington with Rupp Arena and not on campus with all the amenities for the basketball, if you stereotype Kentucky as kind of some middling, barely getting by program, you're doing it wrong. That stadium is great. That press box is great. Their indoor, all their toys and bells and whistles are right up there, second to none.
Oh yeah, well, and I've said for years, if Stoops keeps winning the way he is, and look, is it spectacular? No, but it's consistent. Rich Brooks did this a little bit when he was there, and there'll be that may be a statue, frankly, of when he retires after a few years. Mark Stoops has still done a fabulous job in Lexington.
I just love that he outlasted Cal.
bet he does too.
I know
I'm sure he does.
Yeah. That's great. Talking to Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville. He joins us every single Tuesday to talk some college football. We were talking last week, I guess, or definitely late last week, Brent, about the SEC, and now with the expanded playoffs. I was reading earlier today, I think it was The Athletic did a kind of post-spring practice top 25, and they had 9 teams from the SEC in their preseason top 25. Later this summer, when we're talking SEC Media Days, when those coaches are taking the podium down in Dallas, how many of those teams are talking realistically about college football playoffs this season? How much of those radio stations, beat writers, are having those same conversations saying this is a legitimate go-for-it year for us?
Yeah. We've had those similar talks, too. Frankly, I mean, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, that it's still not easy for that to roll off the tongue at this point. Missouri, Ole Miss, I think that's a pretty good nucleus out of those teams, and I'll leave some out, but that either all of them or some of them certainly are going to be in the race from beginning to the end.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Now, would you just list off 5 teams as a nucleus? I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. And will that correspond to 5 into the playoffs?
Well, I don't. I probably not, but I think we could probably say, and this is why this expanded playoff is going to have the excitement that it will. Man alive, if you've got 5 SEC teams that are going down the racetrack kind of nose to nose, knowing that, and they've still got a chance to be in this thing by mid-November or so, the excitement that creates in the conference is maybe unparalleled.
Brent, we're going to be off on such... Well, it's going to be great for Sports Talk Radio because it's going to be the ultimate speculation with no definitive answers, and you can just let it rip any direction you want to go in. And so we're going to do that. One of the fun exercises, never mind the particular teams. Never mind trying to guess the 1 through 4. That's all got to be the highest rated conference champions. Then the 5 through 12 with 5 through 8 hosting that first weekend. Never mind the individual names, just trying to get the ratio right of 4 SEC, 3 Big Ten, 2 ACC, definitely 1 non-Power 5, and I'm fine by that. Just that number, we're gonna make fools out of ourselves missing so badly on that.
Well, we will, but it's going to be a lot of fun in order to do it. I'd much
and hopefully nobody will remember.
Yeah, really. I hope that I mean, if this comes in, we're close to creating the excitement we think it will. It's really going to be. I was thinking about this on the way home. I'm sure excited about that 12-team playoff instead of upholding the integrity of the Poulin Weed Eater Bowl as we have for many years.
Yeah, well, we sure can't let the Belt Bowl get damaged, can we?
No.
And I'm with you, and we push for this, and we advocated, and there's still a way to incorporate even more bowls in it going forward if we go to 14 or 16.
Yeah.
I do want to keep the games on campus, but when we go to 14 or 16, I don't want many more games on campus because I think we're going to have some really rotten weather at a lot of those games. And the Big Ten and the colder weather places are looking forward to that. They can't wait until we go up there and have to play in 6 inches of snow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I understand that, and that will, I mean, man alive, the environment that you've got, the excitement over that is going to be incredible, too. And by the way, we're about 3 weeks from today before the first or less for the first preseason magazine comes out. I would look. I love those things, but I would hate to be writing for them with this.
How many different kind of editions do you have ready to go? Because it could change.
That's the point. And that is a great point.
One
really
big opt-out. One big, I'm not back.
Yeah. That now, you've got the portal closed basically a week ago. We're still dealing with this stuff now. And frankly, if you had to get it out by, let's just say today's the 7th, if you've got to get it out by the 24th, your deadline may have been either this weekend or maybe like tomorrow.
And that's just for your team-by-team profile. Even that big, broad, this year in college football overview, long-form piece, right. I don't know how you let that fly today.
It'd be tough.
And not look foolish when it goes to print and, hey, that quarterback's not even there anymore.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now I will give Phil Steele some credit, and you've probably seen this like I have. How many guys can tweet out, just spend an hour with Coach so-and-so going over his roster? I sure appreciate that. So,
well, when we sleep, he's working, though.
Listen, I don't know. I frankly don't know if he and that staff over say the next 3 weeks, my Stars, they may not get 24 hours sleep combined.
Yeah, but Rick, his magazine and his information, it is so very good. But now where I am being mostly blind, I can't see it real well.
It's so small.
It's so small, and it's written in his own jargon, code, Egyptian hieroglyphics. And it's so detailed. My ADD kicks in, and I can't take it.
No, and look, I've got a magnifying glass, and I've got basically trifocals. And
I've got trifocals on right now and can't see anything.
Yeah, and I can't see it either. I applaud him for doing it. It's going to be $20, but Lindy's and Athlon is much easier to keep
I used
up
to buy
with.
a bowl ticket for less than I buy Phil Steele's magazine.
Really?
That's incredible. Well, Brent, you mentioned the transfer portal, the spring portal, obviously closed. Still, guys that are in it can commit, all of that, but nobody can enter it yet. What teams out of the SEC or the ACC were kind of hurt the most